filmmaking is such a collective process anyway. Not one person or not one producer has all the skills to do everything.
Sure.
So just being open to the fact that, my skills are limited to ABC and I excel in it, but say Guneet is great at these things and Tilly is great at this and Richa is great at this. Why don't we come together and work on this film?
all these different aspects together? And you said we didn't have the knowledge or the opportunity to take it to the next level. As women producers, what are those opportunities that you really need to take those projects, and what is that next level?
Have disqualified me with a man. Right? Because I wouldn't be professional enough or ambitious enough if I have to take care of a family. Bollocks. Like how? I mean, what is that world where we don't have a family life? We don't have a balance. And if we do, then we're not professional enough. I think these narratives are very important to change beyond everything else that Richa and Dimpy said.
How to give back. Even I am learning. And this is so new. I want to be able to protect it and be able to grow it in strength. And I think three of them, because we are living together in Cannes, this has become like a residency. This is
lovely.
like day and night talking films, day and night talking experiences, and we've never shared that in Versova.
Hello and welcome to this power-packed panel at the 78th Cannes Film Festival. I'm Mehak Kasbekar, and thank you, ladies, for joining me this morning to speak about something really, really important, which has been launched. I'm going to first ask Guneet to speak about and break it, to our audiences on this initiative for women.
Thank you, Mehak, and thank you, Brute, for having me here. I'm at the wonderful Brute studio in Cannes. So Women in Film started as an idea. I think more than an organization, I feel it's an emotion. You just really deeply feel passionate about this. I think a few years ago when stats started coming in India, there was an O Mania report that Film Companion did, I think with a partnership with Omax and Amazon. And that said that, less than 3% are directors, less than 1 year it was less than 4%, the year after it went less than 3%. And I think across the sector, we are less than 8% in any kind of skill in the HOD positions. So, something just bothered, like being a producer, having traveled the world. I felt like I have had so much mentorship. The first time I came to Cannes was an organization with IFP from US. I got a grant to come to Cannes and be at Producers Network. And I think it was in 2011. And that just informed and got me so much exposure that I was able to understand the world of co-productions, to be able to step up and take my next film, which was Lunchbox, and build it as a co-production and learn that on the way, have a peer group, have somebody in legal world to touch base, because they all were part of our Producers Network breakfast programs. So Producers Network is 7 days breakfast. And that is just something that, how do you explain it to somebody? You just have to experience it yourself. And how do you make it happen? Or I would say I'm just trying to, build a peer group, which I've never had for so long, on how do we share notes, how do we, meet more people. And then I met the wonderful team at Women in Film LA during the Oscar campaigns from Period End of Sentence, Elephant Whispers, Anuja. And I saw the amazing work that the organization does. A lot of skill development, a lot of upskilling, a lot of mid-careers upskilling, a lot of early level, introduction. So it was basically a way of hand-holding. Now, this is not a project. It's not a film. It's not an IP, that you are raising money for. But it's an organization. And there are so many incredible organizations in US, like Film Independent or Women in Film or Sundance. There's Tribeca. There are so many grants. There are so many funds. There are so many opportunities available for international filmmakers. And that just does not exist for Indian filmmakers. So I think a sum total of all this is like, what can we do? What can we just do about this? So with the help of Women in Film LA, we are able to set up Women in Film India. And as our first outing, we are here with three wonderful women who are at the Producers Network in Cannes, which is an everyday 7 days breakfast meetings, and they're introduced to the whole world of mentors and executives who are anyways coming at Cannes. And it's mentorship, it's exposure, and I feel it's a start, and I'm just so excited for all three of them to be able to go back, take all this knowledge, and be able to apply that on projects and be able to maybe do co-productions. I feel like this is the best way to take India forward. We are here in Cannes. It's so multicultural. But one has to, we have treaties with it around the world. We have co-production treaties around the world. And this is the best way to use it. One needs to learn how to use it, and that skill needs to be taught. And that's how, as our first outing, we gave 100% scholarship to three of these amazing colleagues, and I'm just so happy that there is a construct and there is a structure to this. A lot of us want to do something. A lot of us want to put our power behind. But a structure is something that one is trying to build, and it is evolving. This is the first. We hope to build many more and get started and, have programs that will upskill.
Programs that will upskill. I'm going to ask Rucha to come in here. Rucha, you worked with big studios and independent spaces as well. Just like Guneet was saying, as part of this first initiative, you've been part of at the producers table as well. Tell us a little bit about what kind of a difference it's made. What are some of the nuances that you're catching here, and what this scholarship really means to be able to sort of push the industry a little bit more ahead when it comes to women producers?
Yeah, great question. First of all, really happy to be here in Cannes with something so powerful to be a part of. Many years ago, I was on the independent route. This is while I was still working at a studio, working at UTV, and it was really weird or interesting that I also produced Harud, which was an independent film, and also Pan Singh Tomar, which was a studio film. Both films ended up going to film festivals. Harud was at the Toronto International Film Festival and then Rotterdam, and Pan Singh Tomar was at London Film Festival and Abu Dhabi Film Festival. Both those films won awards, national awards in India and other awards out of India. But there wasn't a support system or a group like this or an organization like this that we could actually use to catapult whatever women producers were doing at that time to take it to the next level. So it's been 10 years for me and 10 years to get back, do a round circle after being at Disney and Fox Star Studios and Excel Entertainment, back to the independent space. And I feel it's a really good time because if you notice, India has been on the map more and more. Last year we had some amazing films. All we imagine is light and girls will be girls. And this year we've got Sabarbonda, we've got, Tilly's film, The Shadow Box. And of course, Homebound, which is screening at... which is in competition in Cannes this year.
Right.
So I'm saying India's presence has also grown. And I think to a large extent, women have been involved in it. And this is like, Women in Film in India, which is just launched, is a great organization to be able to make the most of the fact that India is doing so well and we're doing so well in terms of filmmaking. So being at the producers lab and producers network has been really good because I don't think we have these kind of tools and these kind of connections that we could make in India. And I think a lot of people want to know, okay, who are the, women behind all these films and all the good work that's coming out of India. So I think that's been really helpful. I mean, it's been a lot of meetings. It's been a lot of talking. But it's really interesting to see international people who talk the same language as we do. And I'm hoping that this is what will really work going forward, where we can take back all the tools that we've learned over here back to India and be able to hopefully mentor other women and grow this organization really, because I know already so many producers over here who have no idea where to go and what to do. I mean, we learned about this producers network thanks to Guneet. You know, I didn't even know it existed. So-
Yeah, all of these years and still didn't know that it
Yeah.
existed, right?
And I have to say that while we've been, because it's been like 6 days now, we have one more day to go. Everybody's reactions to the women producers on the tables has been really good.
That's great.
We end up speaking the most, we end up asking the most questions, and everybody is looking at us and saying, yeah, we want to see you, back here. So,
Owning the space. Which are a very quick follow-up before I get Dimpy in. You spoke about 10 years ago, both those different projects coming in from a studio and in the independent space. And you said we didn't have the knowledge or the opportunity to take it to the next level. As women producers, what are those opportunities that you really need to take those projects, and what is that next level that is probably open to others but not, at this point in time to women producers?
So I think one of the things is the world is a little different right now in terms of the theatrical space. There are everybody, whether in India or internationally or abroad, are wondering where does the theatrical world go from here. We're post-pandemic, we're post, say, the digital and OTT platform. I don't want to use the word menace, but the incursion that has happened. It started off really well. But can it go back to a place where we can see a merging of all platforms, where you can take your films to theaters, you can take your films to an OTT platform, you can take your films to pay-per-view. If you noticed recently, we are trying to figure out how we can release these films. All We Imagine Is Light managed to find a release in India and abroad. Girls Will Be Girls had to go to an OTT platform, which they had to figure out a way that they could recover their monies from. So I'm saying that conversation is happening everywhere. Is there a way that we can get together and find a solution for it? And the way to find a solution for it is if we are all at the table making those decisions or being a part of that decision-making process, which could be in distribution, which could be in any studio conversations, which can be at producers guild level. But those things are not like all together right now, which is why it's important to have an organization like Women in Film, so that we can have a voice all together. People may not listen to us individually. I mean, Guneet did this 10 years ago. While I was on Devdi, I know she was working really hard to get that girl in yellow boots. I saw her standing at the door at Venice Film Festival, getting people in while
Incredible.
we had Devdi had a midnight screening or something. So I know that from there to here has taken such a long time. If she had had this kind of an organization or a support at that time, we would have been way ahead. So she's been doing it all alone. I think when we do it together, it's way more powerful.
Women in Film. So basically, you answered my question, which was essentially what are some of those platforms that were not there 10 years ago, and now Women in Films will be able to give you. So in terms of distribution, a leg in the door to have that release wherever you need.
Yeah. So that also brings me to the other thing that that when Guneet said that, listen, this is the producers network over here. There are many, many more things that Women in Film want to do, which people are trying to do back in India yet. So we do it at an individual level. I get called, to mentor people, or I get called to do panels and things. If we do it together and we get international names to India, because India is like a really big name right now, in the cinema world. So we're hoping that we can get international names to India to help us with masterclasses, to help us with mentorship, and basically open our eyes and our view and our horizons from India to outward, because I know India can be like an insular market. We really care only about our
That's
audience.
True. Right.
India mein hai ya internationally also we want our diaspora audience.
Right.
I'm saying that the films that have performed so well and what, thanks to Guneet winning that Oscar 2 years ago, all that has really made India an exciting proposition to get more work from here
Right.
and get more voices from here. And really, women have been. I mean, I don't want to say this and sound silly saying it, but seriously, women have been a very good force of nature in India. And we need an organization to enhance that and get people to listen to us.
Get people to listen to us. Lots of threads from what you've said, and I'm going to unravel them as we go along. Getting Dimpy here into the conversation. Thank you for that, Richa. Dimpy, what do you think women in film would do for especially socially conscious storytelling? You've been part of so many of those. You've pushed so many of those through. What are your hopes with that?
Thank you. Just to add to her point, just Indians sitting on the table and having a voice across has been super important because they are listening to us. It's not only getting unheard, they are answering our questions, and they are also directly looking at us and asking us, do you have more questions? Because just to have that voice of India out in tables which have people from across, and Europeans and Americans and people from other countries is super important. To your point, yes, I've been pushing socially relevant stories a lot, and it is challenging to push them out. So I'm finding alternative ways to make those stories happen. But an organization like Women in Film, and I told this to Guneet and Rabia, I was having a very difficult day in my life when I got that message from Rabia about women in film, and just the fact that there is going to be a cohort or an organization or a network of women to support each other. I didn't know what, I didn't know how, but it just like got a smile to my face.
Why were you having a difficult day that day?
There's so many things, challenges that you face when you start a company, and especially being a woman. I don't want to sound a victim and say in a man's world, because about
It
2
is
years,
still a man's world. I think we all agree, and this it's changing, but there's a long way to go.
Producer's world and a man's world.
Producer's world, yeah.
But around 2 years ago, I thought that men and women have equal place in the world, and I would be the one saying, oh, you are just crying foul, if my friends did that. But today I understand that, because even my accountant has something to say when I make a decision. So just a bad day in terms of some email that may have come, which takes 2 days to now get over. But just the fact that there's an organization or a network of women that I can go to, like this entire experience has been so good, because Richa comes with such a vast experience. So just go to her and be like, okay, what is this? I didn't understand. Or go to Guneet in the night and be like, oh, tomorrow these are the 15 people which panel should we sit in? And just everyone sharing each other's experience. Tilly telling us about her experience, which has been so different from all our experience, and Rabia, of course, but everyone's experience is so different. And to tell socially relevant stories, because a lot of co-producers in those tables
Want the same.
also want to tell socially relevant stories. So how do you kind of match up to people who want to make a difference and tell those stories, and then kind of find those partners to be able to do that? So this experience being at Cannes has helped a lot in finding those partners. So in fact, I just found a partner for one of my films, which I know in India is going to be very difficult to be made. There have been 10 people who've told me, why are you making this film? Because it's a women-led film. But people over here are like, oh my God, that's so great, you're making this film. This is an Indian story, but also relevant across borders. And that kind of gives back the hope that, okay, we can tell those stories.
Finding global connections and partners, and
Absolutely.
not being alone in that journey.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Dimpy. I'm going to get Tilotma in really quickly here. What a time with Baksha Bandi and Women in Film happening at the same time. Was that the nudge towards being a producer that was needed? How did you take that? What pushed you to become a producer?
Naren, our lead producer, is a man without ego, and it's a rare thing. He should be put in a glass cage and preserved. But it's very few producers who want to share the space. And this was a very rare situation. Naren didn't care how many producers came on board, as long as the film was protected and the film Tanushree and Soma wanted to make was made. And we have 19 producers that came together on Shadowbox, and Dimpy is one of them. So given that this film was made with a model of a collective, thematically I feel it's just right that Guneet would invite me to a collective for women in films, and so that's really how it wasn't planned. And like Dimpy, my father was extremely sick when I got the message about women in films, and I was like, and it was late in the night, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. But I could tell Rabia that I'm really emotionally like worn out right now. I'll try my best to answer the questions that for them to decide whether I'm eligible for this or not. But woman to woman, Rabia understood because she knows a difficult day. It might have disqualified me with a man, right? Because I wouldn't be professional enough or ambitious enough if I have to take care of a family. Bollocks, like how? I mean, what is that world where we don't have a family life? We don't have a balance. And if we do, then we're not professional enough. I think these narratives are very important to change beyond everything else that Richa and Dimpy said. That a producer can be a woman hello. It's like an apple can be an apple. Basically, that's what I'm saying, but that a producer can also have a life. And she can have a network that understands and can hold each other and be a safety net, man. Also, when I started films, being independent films was like a slur. It was like an abuse. That when I started it. Like, oh, you do independent films? Okay, who's next? So that's where I started. And look where the world is now. What Richa said, all the films that she talked about. 25 years later, the things that the world are watching and celebrating are independent films. So time is a powerful equalizer sometimes, But also another thing that, when I was listening to all of them, is that being independent does not mean being alone.
Right.
It's just about the freedom to tell the story you want to tell
in the way
you want to tell it. It doesn't mean being alone. And she's learned it the hard way. And it takes a toll on you mentally and emotionally to be alone, and the world then starts perceiving you in a certain way. You start isolating yourself, and it's the kind of emotional nonsense that we could do without, And so I think a lot of independent filmmaking actually needs a cohort. It needs a collective, and. Bakshabondi was made with that spirit, and Women in Films has been nurtured with that spirit, which is, I think, born out of Guneet's deep angst, we are getting to benefit from her suffering of many, many years to be able to do it together, because I don't think one person alone taking 1,000 steps forward alone is more powerful than, imagine 100 women taking just 10 steps forward. I think the math is, just imagine it. Just one person alone going ahead, and then just 100 women taking 10 steps forward.
Beautifully put. Picturesquely put.
I just wanted to say that that I think they have articulated it much better and deeply than I would. It definitely, is something that just wanted to put resources together and put a structure so that more and more people can use those resources, structure, and share knowledge. Because whatever movies we make, I think what is amazing is the power of a cohort. What Rucha, Tili, and Dimpy have now with each other, it'll help push each other's even projects forward, or thoughts or connections, and this will only multiply. And that is power of a cohort. And we don't mean to alienate
Sure.
a gender that is 99% of or 95% of the industry. Or because there are beautiful allies, and there are people who understand that the stats are against us, and let's pull up our sleeves and do something about it. So we built a wonderful board, and there are incredible people on the board who all understand the need of an organization like this, and everybody is putting their power behind. Lots of calls, we sit here. This has taken 2 years of enormous amount of work, and that is not something one can even articulate or share, but it's enormous amount of calls, of thinking through, of putting a structure, of putting, I don't come from a space of building an organization. I come from a space of building movies. Raising money for a movie, going to actors, going to HODs, putting it together, selling it. But this is something that needs to outlive us. So actually, at the large film festivals, there are always these parallel programs. There are co-production markets, there is writers' labs, there is directors' labs. And as an organization, and with the support of our LA organization, one can tap into that and one can start sending more and more people to experience it, to build exposure, to build a vocabulary, to be able to find partners, like-minded people. And it is so powerful because you don't feel alone, just as Tilly said. We don't want to end it here. Actually, we have to, the reason of the launch was launching our website, www.womeninfilmindia.org. And the idea is for people to join it. So more and more people join it, men and women, will get intel on all the programs that are coming forward.
Right.
And I would love to have more and more people sign up and join that. And for 10 years, I've been like, this producers network is amazing, more people should do it. Now, next year, more people will maybe apply for it in October, November.
Right.
And that is not gender-based, but it is a point of sharing knowledge. So we plan to go back and meet up and do like an event where 3 of them will actually share their experience.
Okay.
And that will be open to our members who have signed up on the website, and hopefully 300, 400 people, and to be able to deep dive, to get ready for either next year or even share knowledge with them. And that is going to be so powerful because there are so many dreams, so many battles we are fighting alone, the same things. Same questions. What is a sales agent? Who's a good one? What to ask? How to do this? How to navigate the co-production? Every year there are India pavilions, and there is knowledge shared from there. But not everybody comes to Cannes. But here are 3 more individuals who can share that knowledge. People can reach out. People can talk, and we will do a giving back, and that can be shared with everybody who's member of. This is an open program, which is not gender. This thing. The organization is called Women in Film. Our stats are low, and we are trying to get more jobs for more women. That's the bottom of it. It's not an agenda. It's not, but it's also a collective of sharing information freely. Because then you can tap into that and really build on that. You don't have to scratch the surface. Each one of us doesn't have to scratch the surface alone every time for every film. We can learn from each others. We can go faster together. We are only stronger together.
Right.
And just the fact that we are all companions. We are not each other's competition.
Right.
So these are small. This is soft skill, and I get to learn so much from them. I did this 2011, 15 years ago.
Right.
And now when, I listen to them and how their meetings were, I'm like, yes, I remember, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. And that is also upskilling, right? And that is like, and next time an independent filmmaker comes to me, which is a lot, which is maybe 10 people in a week, I'm just like, here are 3 more producers who could maybe add value, who could maybe, and God knows, more co-productions between us.
Right.
And that is so powerful. When you see an American film, you see any film, French film, English film, you see like 5 production companies on it.
Right.
5, 7 logos coming in. And everybody is adding their value, is adding their hustle to it, is adding their knowledge to it. So it's a start of many, many things. And at the end, taking our country forward, taking our narrative forward. And each of them will empower, go back, do more productions, hire another 300 people, impact so many lives, and be able to do more. And that is the beauty of it.
It's compounding of knowledge. Yes, please go ahead. I'll come to you just
to add to
after the
that, I just feel that filmmaking is such a collective process anyway. Not one person or not one producer has all the skills to do everything.
Sure.
So just being open to the fact that, my skills are limited to ABC and I excel in it, but say Guneet is great at these things, and Tilly is great at this, and Richa is great at this. Why don't we come together and work
And
this
work on
film?
all these different aspects together at it. Yeah.
And it's not interfering, but it's actually in addition to what helps the film. Like for Bakshobandi, there are 19 people. Everyone come and give their inputs, but not once has anyone interfered in the process or said, "Why are you telling me my job?" Not at all. And the process of giving back, I think we all have been so blessed and lucky. I especially didn't come from film background, but getting the mentorship that I did at a very early on age from where I worked and people I worked with, and now this mentorship, and of course, spending so much time with Guneet and meeting all these people. How do you give back the same knowledge? Because even though my journey has been very limited, a lot of people reach out to just ask, can I get an internship? Can I get an internship with someone I've worked with? Can I work at Dharma? Can you please help me do this? Can we? And if, through this organization, we can even help 10 more people and give back what we've got, been incredibly privileged or lucky with, is just a very satisfactory feeling. And I think as producers, we are always enabling.
Right.
And this is just another way to
Giving the
enable.
platform to others and making it more welcoming.
Sorry, I
Tilokma?
just wanted to add something which I thought was very interesting when Guneet spoke about why WIF and why now. Is the idea of having a database of how many women work in our industry. We don't have a database. When you have an unregulated industry, you're opening up yourself to exploitation and all kinds of nefarious nonsense. When you don't know how many women work in the industry, you can't do any kind of advocacy work, because if you have to apply for a grant and you don't have a number of how many women are there, what is the value that you put to that grant? That these are the number of women working in our industry. We'd like to just raise a grant so that they have a toilet in every set.
And we don't have that
But
number.
we don't have the number. So then you open yourself to all kinds of speculative garbage, right? And you're not able to move forward. So even I just want to say to all the audience of Brute that who are listening in, even if you are very skeptical and exhausted about hearing about women, feminism, etc., no problem, no judgment. But please ask all the women you know, if you're men and if you're a woman and you work in the industry, please sign up. Please let people know you exist, because I think that would help the organization with mobilize things.
Be counted, as simple as
because
that,
if we
yeah.
remain an
Remember that.
unregulated industry, then we will continue like going through cycles of unnecessary exploitation and violence.
Right.
So I think even if you don't believe in any, and you're the most hopeless person in the world, and you're the greatest cynic, and you feel nothing will change, even so, if at the end of even 1 year we have every woman who works in the industry at any level is in our database, I feel, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the board of women in films, the people in women in films globally would be able to help create mandates and better programs to upskill them.
Upskill them. Guneet, I want to...
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, it's very, very powerful to be a part of a global organization which is Women in Film. It's in 55 plus countries. And there is a global network we can tap into. All of us have been, in the last 1 week, been going to the UK Women in Film, the Irish Women in Film, the New York Women in Film, the LA Women in Film, the Poland Women in Film, the France 50-50. And that is a network to tap in. As in you're thinking, you have safe space, even to share intel, even to know more about how to do this. You have a question, you can tap into that network. But all this gets open for our members. The first thing to happen as we go back will be a masterclass with 3 amazing producers.
Right.
We want to do, in fact, there is so much of soft skill development that one wants to do, and this is all stuff that I have just seen around the world that happens, and it's time to bring that to Indian filmmakers.
I wanted to ask you, Guneet, you've been a trailblazer, opening up avenues for everyone. Can you share anecdotes from, say, 15, 20 years ago on what it really meant to be an independent producer, pushing that film ahead? Can you share any anecdotes from that time?
Yeah, so many. I mean, I remember coming to Cannes for the first time on a 42-hour flight. I had a 21-hour layover in Istanbul. you know, I slept on the airport. Literally, I didn't even have money to buy food, and my cards were not working. And I literally remember sitting down at the Istanbul airport and just having tears in my eyes because my card did not work. I had some cash, some small amount of cash, and I could not get online. You know, and I could not. I had to call one of my aunts in London to ask her for her credit card so I could just access internet and not get bored for 21 hours traveling economy. You know, so I come from that. You know, it's a privilege to get on a flight and be able to be here in record time in 11 hours. I'm just like, whoa, you know. I have come here with films, with nothing, and somehow, you know, I think sheer willpower, the drive that, you know, will make it happen. Just switching on a switch in my brain that it's performance time and I have to take this forward. Knocking on every door, meeting all these people in Paris, in London, all the sales agents, everybody, then taking another 50-hour, 40-hour flights, you know, sleeping on people's couches when there was no Airbnb, couch surfing. I feel like, you know, there are beautiful people around the world who've opened their hearts and shared knowledge, shared intel. And even if one wants to give back, how to give back, even I am learning. And this is so new. You know, I want to be able to protect it and be able to grow it in strength. And I think 3 of them, because we are living together in Cannes, this has become like a residency. You know, this
That's
is
lovely.
like this is like day and night talking films, day and night talking experiences, and we've never shared that in Warsaw. You know, and living in India, so you're out, you're far away from that. And this is where magic happens, and you go back, and these are lifelong bonds, you know.
Lifelong bonds.
But yes, I've had incredible time at Cannes, coming year on year. I've had 9 films officially selected here over the years. Done all the red carpets, you know, Lunchbox and Monsoon Shootout. That was a midnight screening. You know, this Peddlers, Gangs of Wasseypur, the 2-part, 5.5 hour. And I actually even remember not even attending my own premiere because I was very busy figuring a cheap hotel to be able to host 40 people after this.
Oh my gosh.
Because the pressure was on me and I was cracking deals कि अच्छा अगर हम 5 वाइन की bottle लेंगे तो आप मुझे 2 free दोगे उसके साथ. You know, that was what I was doing. I never attended the premieres. So, you know, that's life of a producer. You know,
Cannes is intense and special in so many ways.
So intense, so special, so magical. I remember being at Venice and like Rucha saw me, you know, holding the poster of my film, hoping buyers will come. And I was like, no buyer came and asked me, where are buyers? You know, only to realize that you have to fix these meetings before. You have to know these people before. Now, 3 of them know so many sales agents, so many buyers, so many producers, so many legal people, that when their next film is ready for the next film festival, they'll be able to shoot an email and say, I've had FaceTime with you. You know, this is what we spoke about. This is my film. Let's talk. You know, and that is an accelerator.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a thread from what Rucha had said earlier, and this question is really for all of you. The last time we won, India won at the Cannes Film Festival, it's been a while, 1946, 1956. Of course, we do have, we have Payal. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we do have Payal now and in the jury, winning last year and in the jury. I want to take a thread from what you said earlier, Rucha, that just being at the producer's table, asking all these questions, connecting, India is in focus. Indian films are in focus more and more globally as we are speaking. What do we need to accelerate and that conversation and have a larger pie where it just doesn't become one of those one-offs, right? It should be pretty normal for an Indian film to win at all of these international festivals.
Well, we need to know what we need to be out here. We need to be at other film festivals. We need to be, we need to basically have more exposure. We need to be constantly developing material. We shouldn't be waiting for somebody else to do it. We should be doing it ourselves. And we should not actually need to tie up with anybody internationally also. We should be able to do it completely 100% India owned. If that can happen, then I feel there will be more and more films. It's really I mean, it's really exciting that already the reason that there are so many people out here, and the reason that there have been new producers back in India who are interested in doing this kind of cinema, and not the same kind of films that we've all been associated with. I'm not saying that those are bad; those are also good.
Sure.
They drive the economy to a large extent, but there should be space for international kind of cinema also, and Indian stories could be and should be more in focus. But I think the more and more we develop and go through the whole cycle of developing, shooting, filming, distributing, and have like a complete focus on all these areas and not depend on other people to do it for us, I think that will be like a really good thing.
I'll just add to it because, my journey from being an independent producer to having a moment with Elephant Whisperers, it's been 2 decades to be an overnight
success.
Exposure allows you and informs you on when you're greenlighting films. What you can take, where you can take, which festival you can break in. And these are soft skills that you learn with exposure and with conversations. They change lives with mentorship. And that can lead to many more global awards, many more global representation, and many more Oscars. It starts with this. It starts with co-productions, it starts with exposure, it starts with informing and freely sharing all that intel. Because we make some of the most incredible cinema pan-India. Be it Malayalam cinema, be it Bengali, be it, Tamil, Telugu. And there is a lot of ambition to travel internationally. The how to do it is not freely available. And that is what training ground needs to be. And how does that happen? That happens by coming here, by being able to be in the right room, by being in the part of Producers Network to build that cohort. So all this tomorrow will lead to winning many more Oscars and hence putting India on the map.
Exposure and the knowledge which was not available. Dimpy, would you like to add to that as well?
I think in India, the most challenging thing is, like she said, it is world-class cinema. It is world-class cinema in many different languages because India is a country is a very diverse country, but distribution is something that we face problems with. And that's why co-productions kind of help. So even though we could perhaps make a film in India, fully in India, without using co-production support, because there is a lot of creative ways that you can put a project together. I think what co-production does is help in distribution and worldwide sales and worldwide distribution that India is not being able to kind of do independently alone, because from a world that I came in, again, my family is not in the movies, but Sunday to Sunday going to watch a film with the family, with a tub of popcorn and samosa was a culture of entertainment, was a family culture, was a friend, or was a group culture,
right.
which has kind of been dying. It has its pros and cons, the OTT digital era that has kind of come in, but I think the audience now thinks that chalo 2 mahine mein to the film will come out.
Right.
So that, and also of course the price point, a middle class household is not going to watch it. So films like Sitare Zameen Par, that's now coming on YouTube with pay-per-view, is trying to break those norms and trying to creatively make and build our own solutions. With Bakshobandi, again, there was a new solution that came up of a collective of producers where one party is not taking the entire risk, but everyone's sharing their own expertise, knowledge, and sharing the risk that
a little bit of equity and balancing that out.
So I think what Guneet has done over 20 years is now kind of, making way forward for what everyone else can do, but in different creative ways of forming that together.
Well put, Tilotma. Any last words on what it would take for India to have a little bit of more piece of the pie when it comes to Cannes Film Festival, the Oscars, and so on?
I think really looking at inclusivity, because I think hostel में बच्चे कैसे जब खाना आता है हड़प जाते उस पे ना कि ये मतलब मेरा खाना कोई और ना खा ले, ये हमारे अंदर जो है ना इसको थोड़ा इसको थेरेपी चाहिए कि मतलब आपका इसको खाना है ना, आप किसी और के साथ आधा खा लो, किसी और को आधा दे दो, थोड़े भूखे रहोगे बट एक दोस्त मिल जाएगा। कितना अकेला चलोगे यार। और ये जो भुक्कड़ वाली सेंसिबिलिटी है ना कि मेरे I don't want to share. She met a Dutch producer that, oh no, I don't want to introduce. No, that's the exact opposite. In fact, she makes sure that we meet, her Dutch producer. So this, I think we can accelerate the process of growth when we stop making holes in the bucket by stabbing ourselves in the foot by thinking that this is my contact and I don't want to share it. I think these kind of isolationist practice can take you far, but only for some time.
Sometime. Yeah.
Because it's not possible. This is a long run. It's a marathon. You may win the prize, and then what? Then what? There's so many filmmakers like that who have disappeared because they held on to some boys' club or to some, exclusive club. And I think that's a warning for all of us. I think it's a tendency in all of us. It's not about some kind of people to hold on to a sense of that this is my IP, like in terms of these are my contacts, these are my people. I don't want to share it with anybody because, and honestly, I feel another way to accelerate this is you don't have to be friends with someone, but you can help each other nonetheless as colleagues.
Right.
It's not about I will help you because she's my best friend. No, it's not. It has nothing to do with I can help you, and we don't have to be best friends at all. Because I have so few. I don't have time for so many best friends. मतलब 2-3 ही लोग ना. You can find out उनके parents कैसे हैं, उनके बच्चे कैसे हैं. कितने लोगों का तुम देखोगे? But I can be a colleague. I can give information. I can share information. I think it's a mindset change, and that women should lead it.
And I think that's a secret. I think a lot of the world has. Yes, please go ahead.
Something that changed my life was I was really struggling on a film in 2016.
Okay.
And I needed to get the entire post-production done, and I didn't have enough money. And I met the head of Technicolor in US, and I was like, we want to do the post, and if I'm able to do the post, if I'm able to finish the film, if I'm able to do the color and the final copy and the DCP, and then take it to a festival, maybe I'll be able to do sales, and then I'll be able to do global sales. I'll be able to then sell the film. But abhi wo last post production ka kuch hai nahi support, and there is no way of what means to me for me to finish it. And she said, let me see the film, and it's a high impact film. It's called Tigers. It's on Z5. One of the dearest films that I've produced. Directed by an Oscar-winning Danis Stanovic. And she just saw the film. She met me next day and she said, we'll do the entire post. Wow. And for a minute I was like, thank you. But why? And she said, because I can. That changed my life. So if people ask me why you're doing it, what are you getting? Just because I can. I've always just wanted to take that. It changed my life, that 2 words. And because today I can, we all can. And we are in can. Anyway.
Dippy wanted to add something.
I just wanted to add to what Tilotma said, that I think being kind goes a long, long way. 10 years of my in the industry, I think being unkind takes some effort, because you have to go out of your way to be nasty.
Be this person, yeah.
But being kind, I think, comes more naturally, and you just have to be yourself and embrace that. But that is your wealth that you create in the industry. And when I started Gubara, and we were making our first short film, Chashma, they were making a short film, Guneet can add to it, is very, very challenging. But at that point in time, I called up every single person that I have worked with in 10 years, as a production coordinator, as a production manager, as a line producer, as the lowest in the rank. But I think I was just myself and kind. And when I told them that these are my hurdles, people like Sidmi, people like Alok Nanda, Deepa Motwane, who's been my mentor, they all said, you're making it, we'll do it. No questions asked, no money asked. We will do it, no matter what, we are on your project. And that, I think, is the wealth that we create. And that, I think, women in film and this cohort is the wealth that we go back with. That perhaps if I'm stuck and I'll send a message to Guneet saying, I'm stuck, is this a sales agent I can work with? Or, anyone asks me, I'll be like, yeah, of course, let's get on a call and let me share this information, because people have been kind to me. So, you know, how do you give back? And
Giving back goes a long way. Yeah.
And the last thing that I want to say that Women in Film this year was also able to give an accreditation grant to Shefali Bhushan, who's done this wonderful film called Sthal. And she's here also in the market and figuring out sales, asking the questions, and representing a Marathi film. So the idea was to be diverse, and this organization that we are building is a pan-India organization. So my parting words will be sign up, womeninfilmindia.org, and wait for more information. We'll reach out, and also to be able to build a database on how many we are, where we are, and what we do.
Sign up and come together. On that note, thank you to this very, very powerful panel and making time for Brute.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having us.